Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back again to the Final Third Podcast.
I will admit, so you guys are just listening to this for the first time. But we just had like a 40-minute long conversation.
No, dude, it was an hour. It was an hour.
And it wasn't recorded.
And so that's fun.
Damn.
We did get video.
We did get
a lot of video, but it's not usable.
But all you hear is lounge fans in the video. Yes. So I'm Isaiah, and we have a special guest, and we had a special conversation. So hopefully we can get into some of that again.
We'll bring it back. It's been good.
We got Jeremy from Micallef, and he's nice enough to do this again with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we the button didn't get pushed. So sorry, guys, but we're going to be jumping back in. You guys have no clue if anything happened. Today we're smoking the Micallef Black in the Robusto size. This has a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper over Ecuadorian Habano binder and Nicaraguan fillers. Full-bodied, great spice notes. For us, the cold draw was kind of cocoa, barnyard hay, with a little bit of spice.
It does that really nice aged Maduro barnyard.
It really does. It does.
And as you said before, the barnyard hay like scares people away sometimes. Yeah. But it's a good. I think it shows a good tobacco.
It shows a well-aged tobacco because honestly, I mean, they're aging tobacco in barns.
Yep.
If you get that kind of note, that means it's been aging a nice long time. And like you had said earlier, these have got an extra 3 years of age on all the tobacco. So a lot of that ammonia you get off of a new cigar is already gone.
Yeah.
These things right out of the box are immediately ready to smoke.
Yeah.
And these things have been smoking fantastic.
In the first third of this cigar, there was a lot of that dry cocoa notes, a little bit of pepper on the palate, and the retrohale was black pepper.
Yes.
And it was just a super creamy smoke. Right now, we're drinking our new Spirits of French Lick brandies that are finally in.
Yes.
So this is the what did we label this one as?
This one is they're brandies. You know, brandy. That one over there is called "You're a Fine Girl," and this one's "What a Good Wife You Would Be."
Yeah.
This one is an apple brandy at 147.9 proof, finished in a port finish rye or rye finish port finish rye. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's the words. And actually, that's what we're drinking right now. We'll bounce back to the other one here too. A lot of those dark wine notes you get out of it, but you're talking 148 proof. It's got some heat to it.
It's very, very sweet on the initial, and then it warms up.
And honestly, it's playing really nicely with this cigar because you're getting a lot. Where this brandy, if you put an ice cube on it, you get a little bit of chocolatey notes out of it. With this cigar, you're getting those same chocolatey notes, which is really, really nice.
And when you smell it, it smells like Christmas.
It really
There's like
does.
Nutmeg, some of the holiday spices.
Definitely. So this cigar just came out. You were telling us it's a PCA release.
Yes.
And not a limited release.
Not a limited,
which is
wonderful.
Everything right now in the whiskey and cigar world seems to be limited. So when we see something that will be a shelf staple, it's encouraging.
It is.
And this will not just be a shelf staple, but I think it's what's going to really kind of catapult Micallef into, some of the front lines.
Oh, I agree. Because I really enjoy, because right now we have the black in Robusto and Toro. We have the Medaglia in a Toro. We have the A in Churchill and the Petite Corona. All three of those are great cigars. This one, I mean, you're talking. This one, our cost is our selling price is $8.39. Oh. That's a great budget friendly cigar. It's a low price point. It's definitely one that you want. You want to try it first of all. Even if you're a smoker that doesn't smoke a lot of full bodied stuff, but you don't retrohale, it's not going to blow your palate.
No, it's very smooth,
but it's really nice. But if you are a full bodied smoker and you do retrohale, you're gonna enjoy this. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, that's for sure. So Would you like to tell us a little bit about the Micallef brand? We're laughing because this is round 2.
Yeah,
and
so
it's my bad.
First the Micallef Black, excuse me, took 3 years from start to finish to release it. We didn't want to rush the process. We wanted to make sure that it came out as a good quality cigar. And at this price point, it's kind of our nod to the retailer and the consumer, so that it would be a budget-friendly cigar.
Yeah.
And stripping away anything that wasn't necessary, but still, when you hold it in your hands or see it in the box, it looks like a very premium cigar.
Yeah, it's that whole black and gold aesthetic, and that follows through all the way to the band. And speaking of the band and the construction, cigar rings, and it comes off so easily.
It's nice when that band comes off without tearing the leaf.
It really is.
Yeah. Construction. So we've partnered with the Gomez Sanchez family, which I'll share that story in a little bit, but they've been rolling cigars since 1934.
Okay.
So their construction, to me, is bar none.
Yeah.
As someone who's always driving on the road, smoking cigars, a cigar that doesn't fall apart or doesn't canoe, it's really nice. Everyone's palate is different,
Yeah.
but one that has a great construction and a good draw.
Yes. Perfect draw on these every time.
Yeah.
And the reason is that we do a test draw on every cigar.
Yeah.
And not a lot of companies do that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And so it is time consuming.
Can you talk about what draw testing looks like, and just assure people that there's not somebody sitting there smoking
on
sucking on your cigars?
After they put the binder on, they'll take that cigar and they'll put it on this machine. I forget what it is called, and it does just a little air test to see if the draw.
Yeah.
Once it passes that, then they put the wrapper and cap.
Yeah.
So that person sits there with a machine that will give them the specific rating of how much air will go through that cigar, and if it falls outside of the rating, low or high, it's tossed and it's not used. So it's actually it gives you the same experience on every cigar.
And there's a lot of brands that are too. I don't know. We've had other people on the show that will say, "Oh yeah, we trust our rollers," like all that stuff. And as much as I trust your rollers, like all it takes is one bad day or a hangover, and you're not rolling the same.
Well, they're hand rolled. You have human error.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Right, and so you're gonna have
even the conditions of the room that day can change the way they actually are perceived.
Yeah.
If you got a little more humidity in the air and you're rolling them, a lot of times they'll go by feel too when they're bunching.
Yeah.
If it's bunching differently one day other than the other, it's going to do something different. So
and doing a test draw does not take away from a quality hand rolled cigar. You know what I mean? You know how some people be like, well, trust your rollers, or it's not really handmade if you have to use machines.
Which, being completely honest, some of our favorite brands in this humidor will tell you that they draw test every single cigar. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the reasons they're our favorite brands. Just because quality and consistency.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't, as a retailer, you're going to honor, if someone gets a cigar and that's plugged or whatever, you're going to honor giving them another one.
Always.
How many times do you want to do that?
Right, exactly.
So
it
it's
costs me money every time.
It's good to have efficiency on the front end.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So it smokes well on the back end. So
yeah. We're just in a loop here. So.
I know, it's crazy.
So let's go back to again talking a little bit about Micallef, the brand, the people behind the brand right now.
So the Gomez Sanchez family, third generation rollers, it's 1934, wanted to get their cigars into, this is a little over 8 years ago, into the United States. They go on this rolling tour, end up in a cigar lounge in Texas.
Okay.
Al Micallef is there. Al Micallef made his money through manufacturing. So anything silicone more than likely came from his manufacturing. But he loves cigars. And so they showed up. He's like, okay, I like what you're doing. How about you make me 1,000 of your best cigars? Got them, loved them. That is when the partnership started. A handshake. I'll get you a sales team, a warehouse, our factory. We actually have a factory in Nicaragua, in Esteli. And so it's kind of where the partnership began.
Okay.
And then the inception of Micallef Cigars little over 8 years ago. Right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so ever since then, Micallef has been moving forward, trying to do things. And this is a shout out to Dan Thompson, who is our president, trying to do things differently. Oh, here we go.
Good drink.
Shout out. Damn. Trying to do things differently than maybe the industry standards or the industry way.
Yeah.
And just taking some different approaches, which has been good.
Yeah. Well, so that was where, because I know Al, again, businessman, was that where his first intention of becoming a cigar brand owner came from? Had he always wanted to be a brand owner, or is this just perfect timing?
That's a good question. Like from what I know of the story, it sounds like just perfect timing. But Al and Amanda Micallef, his daughter, and others that I've met from the family, they're just entrepreneurs. Right?
Yeah,
they see things differently and they want to move forward with it. And so I think it was just an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and again, you've seen a couple other brands like we talked about Aladino with 3 daughters, Al's daughter, Amanda, now coming into the industry as female presence, passionate about this industry, are really driving this industry in other directions. One of the things you were talking about was the Sisters of the Leaf.
Yep, Soto Global Movement.
Yes, yeah. So that one's coming up, and you were talking about that. So in Chicago, they're doing.
Yeah, there's a panel that's happening in Chicago. The founders of this particular Lefty and Anastasia, who kind of are the ringleaders of the Soto Global Movement, based out of Chicago.
Okay.
There's going to be a panel in October, and the goal is to break the stigma that it's cigar smoking is for men only.
Right. Right.
And once again, like what you did with your lounge, which if you have not been here, it's a beautiful spot. But it's homey, but it's comfortable. It's aesthetically pleasing, so that men want to bring their wives.
Yeah.
Or men want to bring their girlfriends. Women just want to come.
Yeah.
And I think that's the direction.
There are
you're going.
some women that just show up alone
Yeah.
here.
Some women bring their men.
Yeah, some
really
of them do.
Yeah. They really do. Yeah.
And
Shout
so,
out to you, Tara. Yeah.
And so it's just nice. And obviously, I travel the Midwest for Micallef, and I go to a bunch of different lounges. And you can always tell the lounges that have stayed the same from day one.
Yeah.
And it's more of your man cave feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Like that's
where the industry was for the last 30 years, 40
If you
years.
dig too much in the chair, you'll just find somebody
you don't wanna
else's
do that.
cigar butt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the ones that are moving forward to kind of embrace what does this new scene look like?
Right.
And I think it looks like more men and women involved.
It has to. Because the old man is eventually going to die.
Yeah.
And if this industry goes off and you're focused on just the old men, this ain't gonna last much longer because the young people will never get into it. Which then once they get old, they never got into it. They'll never start at any point. We got to engage the young people, and that's what's nice about Amanda being in this. She's going to be pushing that. I've seen her do a lot of social media stuff. She's having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely the way we need to go with this. And lounges need to be more friendly that way too.
Yeah.
One of the things that, like, my wife and a few of our women customers have said before is they'll go into a cigar lounge and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
No, you get called baby or honey.
Yeah.
Or you'll say, "Oh, are you here to buy a cigar for your husband?" Or, "Oh, I'm sorry, are you lost? You need to find someplace else." And it's like, or even
are you looking for directions?
Are you looking for a sweet cigar?
Yeah.
That's the worst because
It's a stigma.
most I will say we have more men smoking sweet cigars than we have women in here. So that is not
and even
a thing.
worse on the stigma. Like,
Don't go there.
No, when I was working here, Rob and I would see a biker group pull up, and we'd be like, better break open another box of acid blondies, like,
or the Bettys, or
So
true.
Yeah.
And smoke what you like to smoke.
100%,
Just
yeah.
don't pigeonhole people
Yeah.
into, ask them.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are coming in looking for a recommendation. Figure out what they smoke before you assume.
Right.
And I would say to cigar smokers, also expand your palate.
Yeah.
Like this to me, smoking cigars isn't just obviously a time of relaxation, conversation, but it's also like it's fun. It's fun to learn something new.
Yeah.
And I think more cigar smokers should branch out.
Yeah.
I think so too. And that's one of the things that we like to do the most here is engage the customers. And, I can tell you, we've got dozens of people that come in and say, hey, what am I smoking today?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of
That's
fun.
my favorite question.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too, because, you see, we've got some customers that started out smoking, again, the Sweet Jane or something. And they're like, oh, I want to try something that's not sweet. We get them into something milder. And then they're, working their way through the entire humidor. And it's like, that's really fun to see. Because at some point they're going to find out, you know what? I smoked through everything. I really like medium body cigars. Fine. Let's throw you some medium body cigars in there. And I feel like that's the only way to figure out what you're enjoying. Now, the longer you're into cigars, it's going to always change. You're always going to be in the mood. Like right now, I smoke a lot of really full-bodied stuff, but I've been backing that off a little bit because I'm always smoking full-bodied stuff.
Yeah.
It's time to kind of back up and really re-engage back with some of the mild to medium-bodied cigars.
Well, a lot of what I've been leaning toward this summer in my humidor has been the medium-bodied stuff.
Yeah.
And some of my classics, like the Mil Diaz, are generally cigars with Habano wrappers that lean more medium-bodied.
Yeah.
And there's a season for everything, and also there's a time of day for it.
Yeah. There is.
I'm not gonna start most days off with this Micallef Black, though it is a good time. It is definitely a good time.
Is.
But so what's the price point on this cigar, Rob? Because that was something that was
this one, our price on this one's $8.39 just because of Indiana taxes. The MSRP you said was $7.
Yep.
Again, a brand new cigar.
I see it on the shelves between 7 and 8. So that's
Yeah. So you're looking at, and the thing about this is we've seen some cigars come out with this price point that you can tell they're a little bit rushed. The caps might not look beautiful and all that stuff, which honestly, that's not a big deal. If they smoke great, that's fine. But this one here, the construction on it is perfect. Yep. You would expect this one to be way over $10 just by looking at it. So kudos to you guys for bringing out a cigar that's affordable for everybody and hopefully brings more people into the brand.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want this cigar to kind of like push us into the front lines so people see it.
Yeah.
See who Micallef is and that we're here to stay.
Right.
I can't tell you how many questions I've received. Like, oh, I didn't know Micallef was still around. Like, are you guys?
Yeah.
Because usually when, you have what we have classified as a boutique brand, which we debated earlier for a while.
Yeah.
What is a boutique brand?
Yeah.
Like, they come and go.
Right.
So is Micallef here to stay? And I'll say this in all of my conversations with Dan and Amanda, and even Al, like it's here to stay, and not just stay, but progress.
Yeah. Right.
So,
which was somebody like Amanda. It sounds like she's very entrepreneurial and young girl too. I feel like she's going to really push that forward, and it's nice to see another brand with young people that are passionate about the industry. One of the things I've heard other podcasts talk about is like, oh, once these younger people take over the brands, all they want to do is sell them. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Would you like to shout out the show?
I won't throw them under the bus. It's just a couple of guys up north,
two guys maybe.
But no, they had a whole show about how these brands. Like Alec Bradley. Some of these brands that sold off because the younger generation didn't want to take on the brand, take on the family brand, whatever. It's nice to see a lot of these younger people saying, no, man, we have a passion. We grew up in this. This is what we know. Why would we not take it to the next level and understand it?
It really is a fresh set of eyes on a generations old industry.
Yeah.
And it should be something that's celebrated. Yeah. And, maybe cigars won't be coming in boxes in 10 years.
You never know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think cigars, the blends are becoming more complex.
They are.
And which, to speak to, if you choose your cigar based on if it's light or dark,
you can't do that anymore.
You can't.
No.
Right?
No.
Maduro is really a color.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's the color of the cigar, and so anyone who sees a dark colored cigar automatically thinks,
oh, it has to be strong. Yeah,
it's not the case.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so I think that the complexity is going to, I think, cause people to want to get more involved, figure it out.
I think so. And honestly, that also comes back to someone like me, a retail, tobacconist, is trying to educate people. It's like when someone walks in there and they don't know a brand, you have to educate them, because that's one of the reasons why I do the tags in there. It's like you can walk in there and you can see the strength levels and what they're made of. And I've had people look in there at a light colored cigar that's full body. They go, "Is this a mistake?" I'm like, "No, this is full bodied, but it's light." Yeah,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It just matters what the blend is. And you could throw a light shady Connecticut wrapper over it and throw a bunch of Lajero in the middle of it. It's going to be strong.
Lajero.
It is what it is.
It'll
So
get you.
Speaking of tobacconists, so that's the other thing that we've done with Micallef is we offer a tobacconist program for retailers.
Yeah.
Where they
which is awesome.
They can go through the videos and the training of how our cigars are made, the blends of our cigars. So it gives you the tools then to be able to sell the cigars.
Yeah.
And any retailer that takes their staff through it, they get, a polo t-shirt or a polo shirt, and they get a sampler box of 2 each of the blends of our cigars.
That's awesome.
To be able to smoke. And so it's just, once again, our way. We want brick and mortar to succeed.
Right.
Our conversation earlier about you won't find our cigars on Cigar International or Famous or Cigar Bid.
Right.
Because we don't want anyone walking into your shop saying, hey, I can find this for 2 for $5 online.
Right.
Or worse, I would say, they try the cigar here and never come back
because they go online.
To buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one thing that's nice about having a lounge too, is you have, it's more of an experience. You can sit down and actually enjoy a pour with it and relax with your buddies and stuff. Especially, like right now we're coming up into cooler weather. People aren't going to be sitting in the backyard smoking cigars. It's time to get out, enjoy those with your buddies in the lounge where it's warmer. But it's funny because this industry, especially in cigar shops, most cigar shops will say, when winter hits, they die. I'm like, now with a lounge, it's opposite. Summers are great, winters are even better.
Yeah.
So it's like, for a lounge, it makes it a nice little bonus once the winter hits, because we kick up and get busy again.
I mean, genuinely, places like this thrive in bad weather.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you can't be outside smoking, what do? You come to the lounge.
Yep. Exactly. I know we had a big snow last year. Well, our one snow last year, I guess this year around here, and it was so funny because I got in here and it was I figured it was just gonna be a dead day.
Yep.
Everyone was calling.
Everybody was coming in because they did not want to be stuck.
To
like, oh, I can't go to work. Let's go to the lounge.
Well, and most restaurants shut down that day.
Restaurants shut down. But then I found out we probably had that day 8 to 10 plow trucks out here. Little pickup trucks with the plow that were doing the work, stopping here to have a cigar after they got done plowing. I'm like, it turned out to be a good day on a day that no one was doing anything. Yeah. So it is nice. It's nice to have that option.
So what is the box price on this cigar, and how many are in a box?
So box of 25, and we do a discount on the boxes every day. It's $188.78 for a box of 25 cigars.
You can't beat that. And all I'm saying is with a cigar of this caliber, it is good today, and it'll be amazing in 2 years.
Like it's a $7.50 cigar by it that way.
That's about as budget of a cigar as you're gonna get. That's this high quality. Yeah. But buying a box of something like this and sitting on it in your humidor, or smoking part of it sitting on some, this would be a great cigar to dive into some of the aging things that people will nerd out about, because you're not in it for that much. And if you smoke through them all, that's great. But sitting on something like this, it's just going to get better.
Yeah, it is. So we had these cigars out in Vegas, out of the cellophane, sitting out, and the dry heat in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
We took some of them back home. I took some of them back home, and they still smoke great.
That's
after
crazy.
Being out for 4 days, also being shipped there. Like, it was just crazy to me how well, and it just speaks to the construction. I mean, the Gomez Sanchez family does an amazing job.
Well, and we'll talk about this soon, but I want to get an event in here with you guys too. If you were to buy this at one of our events, you're going to get these cigars for $6.70 a piece at an event, because we do 20% off on event boxes.
Rob, what
beat
cigars
it.
would compete with that?
None.
I really
I
don't
can't think
think
of
so,
one.
especially
Not in
of
this
a
level.
fuller bodied,
None.
perfect construction.
Nope. So we
Yeah,
need to set that up. So.
Yeah, I hate to compare it to this because they're different, but your Liga line,
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely holds up to Ligas.
but price point.
Oh my gosh, you're a third of the price.
Yeah,
But
So-
the other thing is recent ligas have had construction issues. So
Yeah.
you'll spend around that $20-ish range, or are they more?
I don't know what they are. I haven't bought one in a long time.
I think I bought one last year because people were telling me that they had construction issues, and that used to be a celebratory cigar for me. Like
Yeah.
I'd always smoke a number 9 on Christmas.
number 9.
And I smoked one last Christmas, and I did the Colibri Deep V, and it fell apart. And I was just like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
If your cigar can't hold up to the Colibri V, which I feel is pretty standard in the industry.
And you did a V on this one, right?
Yeah.
I did straight on this
I
one,
always
but-
do the V.
I go back and forth, but like this one here, you can see, I just did the straight cut. The cap comes all the way down to here. I mean, you have no problem doing any kind of a cut you want on this cigar.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
and
solid
really-
triple cap.
If you do a straight cut, you don't have to take much off at
No.
all, and you get a great draw.
No, I
Yeah.
barely slivered off the end, and
Yeah.
it's drawn perfectly. So
Yeah.
No, that's good.
So
All right.
I actually just finished my pour of
well, let's get
the
in and
other
talk
one.
about the other one. So this one, we just got done drinking. We were drinking the brandy finished in the port
Doing it twice.
rye.
twice. Yeah.
We'll jump back to the one that we started out with.
Yeah, so this is a 5-year brandy that's been aged the entirety of its life in a Lee W. Sinclair barrel, and it's only 140 proof. I'm sorry, we're just
140.
barely breaking hazmat for you.
I'll get some here in a minute. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just throw
what,
that
Rob?
back.
You don't want to chug that?
I'm a little slower.
Chug it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he did it. He probably just chugged an ounce total.
Burn.
At least.
Yeah.
Woo! Hello.
Thanks for your sacrifice, Rob.
Hey, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, for the people.
Yeah. Now Lisa's gonna have to work today. But,
Yeah, poor Lisa.
Woo, hello.
No, these pair really well with this cigar. Brings out that cocoa and even cedar. on
Yeah, it
those
really
notes,
does.
so-
It really does.
And
Well, and a little bit about this. So these, damn, I really did choke that down. So these little hangers here, just to kind of give you a quick idea of what that's about. So Dirk Fence, which is the Indiana Bourbon on Instagram and Facebook, he does a program called End of Watch, which we've talked a lot about on the show. I won't go into details. This is one of the bottles that we actually shared the pick with. So we picked 2 barrels and split the barrels between the 2 of us. His sold out in his program in just a few hours.
Yeah.
Honestly, 95% of them sold out in the first 25 minutes.
which
And the last few sold out over the last couple hours after
it was
that.
crazy to me because I saw that he was very fair on pricing.
Oh,
too.
he was.
He
was.
he priced them at $75 a piece, and
You can't find a hazmat anything for that price.
no, I mean, I was texting somebody. I said he probably could have done $100 a piece, and they still would have sold.
Yeah.
But
But that just goes to show you that spirits of French lick aren't, at least not yet. I mean, I don't know where they're going to go, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus here at all. on
well,
any
and
of that.
it has nothing to do. Their pricing has nothing to do with Alan Bishop.
No, it does not. But their pricing is very, very fair on everything they do. You get into some of these special barrel finishes of bourbon or whatever, and you're talking 75, 85, 95, $120 for these finishes.
Yeah.
He's just not there. And I'm hoping they never get there. Their product is getting better every time Alan makes something. So it's nice to partner with them, and we'll do more with them for sure down the road. But so Dirk's program did really well with this one, sold quickly, so he's got some money back for a program. These little bottle tags here are They look like little Rogue weights.
Yeah.
Rogue weights.
Yeah.
Mainly because Sierra Burton, the officer that died in her line of duty over in Richmond, she was big. She worked out a lot. She was, I don't know if she was sponsored by Rogue or if she just used Rogue a lot.
Yeah.
But they're actually going to be putting together a gym equipment package for a police department, a small police department that does not have that, just based on her name. And I'm like, that's really cool because
awesome.
not only did he already took care of the family, but now he's also taking care of the police officers that are left behind on that too.
I saw this morning at what's the store in Arnold, Missouri, Rob? ABV Barrel Shop.
ABV Barrel Shop.
So if you're looking to support End of Watch in some way, and you're in the St. Louis-ish area, ABV Barrel Shop just got in a Bear Wallow rye that Dirk helped picked along with them. And,
I didn't realize that.
And they got the neck tags, and there a portion of every bottle of that is going to the End of Watch program. So
I'll be down there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you guys that are in Missouri, well, first of all, check out the ABV shop.
First of all, shout out to ABV for doing that too, because I like the guys from ABV, but I like them even more now they're supporting the End of Watch program.
It's such an easy program.
It is.
And
I will tell you too, if you're an officer in another state, because obviously Dirk is one officer in Indiana, and he gets calls from every officer in every other state saying, "Hey, could you do something like this in our state?" No, he can't, because he's got a job and he's working and he's doing. Do it yourself. Talk to him. He'll explain how to do it. But just if you're an officer and you have a passion for this, do this in every state. This should be done in every state, because officers are following in every state.
Yeah.
No reason why this can't be every state has this program going, but it's going to take people in every state to do this. It can't be one guy in Indiana doing it for every state. So.
Absolutely. So we want to let the listeners get to know you a little bit. So I got a couple questions for you, but the first of which
we didn't do this in round one.
We didn't. So it's fresh for you. First of all, how long have you been in the cigar industry, and what got you into it?
So I've been a sales rep since May.
Yeah.
And it's really my first time officially in the industry. I've been smoking cigars probably since 2013. Mm-hmm. And then when I moved to Columbus, Ohio in 2019, I became really good friends with the guy who runs a shop on the west side of Columbus.
Okay.
And
shout out the shop.
Yeah. Royale Cigar Lounge.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Ryan Newman. He's a great guy, good friend. And he just kind of, man, I just love the experience, the atmosphere. I love meeting new people. I love when you walk into a lounge. Cigars are the great equalizer, right? You can talk about anything.
Yeah.
There's just this camaraderie that goes along with it. And so I've just always enjoyed that. And so from 2019 to, when COVID hit, I spent a lot of time at the shop with Ryan because no one else was coming in. And just familiarize myself with the cigars, the inventory, how shops would do their retail. And so just cut through that exposure. And then another shop in Delaware, Casa Aficionado, Patricia, who is also part of the Sodal Global Movement, Sisters of the Leaf, which did we talk about that already?
We talked about on this side, yeah.
So, but she's a part of that. So spending time at her shop as well, between the two of them, kind of got me into this industry.
Yeah.
And so,
and what were you doing previously?
Oh man, so I was traveling around the state of Ohio teaching classes in prisons.
Okay.
That's
awesome.
I'm also still currently a pastor.
Okay.
So I pastor a church in Grove City, Ohio.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's a pastor
I'm
as well.
associate pastor at a church in McCourtsville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I've been pastoring since I started a church in Steubenville, Ohio, in 2011, and then left there 2019. My worship leader took over pastoring that church, and we took a church here in Columbus, Grove City. So
that's awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome, man.
That's super
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I leave from here to go to Marysville, Ohio to do a rehearsal for a wedding I'm officiating tomorrow.
Oh, dang.
So
There you go. Yeah.
So this guy actually drove from Eastern Ohio,
Western
Ohio,
about
over
3
to
hours
here
away.
to do the show, and he's driving back to Ohio. So
my goodness.
thank you for coming.
Yeah,
for that.
man,
That's
I
awesome,
was
man.
excited to do so.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
Our wonderful new table is brought to you by Deadwood Live. That's D-E-D Wood Live. Go check them out on Facebook and see what Derek can do for you. From bars to tabletops to a giant podcast table, they specialize in making super high quality furniture from live edge woods and reused barrels. So reach out to them on Facebook and see what they can do for you.
We typically ask this of our guests, though I didn't round one. So this will be fresh for you.
Okay.
3 cigars, budget, like your absolute bottom, I'm cutting the grass, or I'm giving this cigar to a friend who likes to smoke cigars, but he doesn't really care what he smokes, or she doesn't really care. Your everyday, a cigar that you'll just smoke every day, and then your celebratory. What would those be for you?
Okay, so my...
And they can be your brand or other brands.
Yeah.
I'm going to do both.
Okay.
That's okay. So,
That's fine.
Well, my budget cigar would be my brand, or the Micallef brand for sure. It's the Torcedores, box press Churchill. Retails at $5.
Okay.
Smokes like a $10 stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, cutting the grass or giving them out, I mean, it's just, to me, it's one of the best budget cigars out there.
Yeah.
So that would be that one. My everyday smoke would go, obviously, the black with Micallef side. But I love a lot of stuff from Plasencia, but probably, the Red Label Pichardo.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I love that cigar. In fact, Ryan keeps them stocked at the Royale Cigar Lounge for me, basically. I think.
That's awesome.
But that one, now my celebratory, I'm gonna give you 2. The Ashton ESG.
Okay.
I love the ESG.
The VSG and the Symmetry would be probably in my everyday smokes too. Like,
Yeah.
I like those. But the ESG,
It's
I
special.
love. It is. Special price point too.
It is. Yeah.
But the best cigar I've ever had,
Yeah.
Jeremiah Marifel. Are
Really?
you familiar?
I've never had it before, but I know I've heard of it.
I've never
So
even
Jeremiah
heard of it.
Marifel, who does all the Cameroon wrappers for Fuente, and really most Cameroon wrappers, create his own line. He
Okay.
came out with this flagship called the Richard.
Okay.
$103.
Damn.
Wow.
Best cigar I've ever smoked.
Okay.
Really?
Like,
I'm
when
gonna
I
have to
say
find
that,
those sometime.
best cigar I've ever smoked, that, like, it was worth $100. If I spend $50 on a cigar,
It better be good.
it better be. But most of the time, it's worth $20. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
But this one, man, it was special. They only made 613 boxes. So
Oh, okay.
limited.
Yeah. Very limited.
And so you'd be hard
What
pressed to
year
find.
were those made?
They came out last year.
So there might be some out there still.
Yeah, there might still be. Well, I know Burn in Pittsburgh had one box left, but they were selling them by the boxes. They wouldn't sell the individual because it came in an ashtray.
That's an expensive
That's
box.
expensive.
Yeah.
Was
it
it
is.
10 count box?
Yeah, 10-count box.
So you're $1,000 plus a nice little ashtray to throw in there.
Yeah.
So they won. I forget which.
And that's almost like a cigar nerd sort of cigar. Like not like the Davidoff Year of the Rabbit or something like that.
If you ever find one and you can afford it, I would say it is worth it.
We'll have to try to find one.
So he came out
Does
with
your buddy in Ohio have those?
no. So
No.
Patricia in the Casa Aficionado, she got them in. And that's where I first tried it.
Okay.
There was only originally 2 shops in the state of Ohio that got them.
Wow.
Now, I will say I got some intel that there's another shop that we do business at that's getting some in. If that's the case, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, please do. I'll send you some money. I'd like to have a couple of those.
Yeah.
We'll have to, I'll talk more about that.
Yeah. So you're also into whiskey or spirits in general.
I love bourbon.
So, okay, for bourbons for you, what is your budget, your everyday, and your celebratory pour? And I would say celebratory, either a bottle that you have or any bottle that you've ever tried that you would
That you're hunting.
The bottle may not even exist in production anymore.
I will say, so my budget,
Yeah.
there's 2 of them. One is hard to find anymore, and that's the Ancient H10,
Okay.
which is the same match bill as
Blanton's.
Blanton's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to find. When you
Yeah.
find it, it's worth it because it's $20 for like
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
a half-gallon bottle.
Yeah. And So back in time, that was actually a 10-year product, and now Ancient Age 10 is just called 10 Star. So I think it was a way to kind of trick consumers and drop the age statement, but it is solid.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to get Ancient Age in Indiana.
I've seen
but
some.
I have seen it I've seen the 10 Star a lot when I was living in Tennessee.
Okay.
I was in North Carolina, and they had 2 half gallons on the shelf for $29 a piece.
And you
I
bought
bought
both?
both of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but my probably favorite budget that I like would be my well whiskey at home is Russell's 10-year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
just solid. Celebratory. I have a bottle of Joseph Magnus cigar blend.
Oh yeah, baby. I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good.
That's good stuff.
And then
Just your everyday or a bottle that you're going to more often right now.
We already did the everyday.
the everyday would be Russell's 10-year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But bottle that I've been drinking the most out of right now is Double Oak by Whiskey
Woodford.
War.
Oh, Whiskey War. Okay.
Yeah, they're Double Oak.
I've not had that one yet.
You probably would have had it in the flight.
Well, they didn't have, when we were there, they had not released their first true bourbon.
Oh, okay.
It was all called whiskey before that. Some of them fell in the category,
Yeah.
but they just hadn't actually called it yet. So we were there in October, November. They were releasing their first bourbon in December of that
Yeah.
year. That's been a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Now, I just had a pour of Blood Oath recently,
Okay.
which was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good. I was very impressed.
I haven't tried very many. I actually am not sure I've tried any of the Blood Oath products, but people, it's kind of one of, it still holds a secondary value, but it's one of more of the, like, if you know bottles, because they don't hold value to everybody, but the people that are seeking after them.
Yeah.
hunt
My
hard.
my favorite rye,
Yeah.
Angel's Envy.
Oh my God, I hate
Those are
that.
fighting
I know.
words.
Listen,
Fighting words.
I love caramel.
It's
Yeah,
one of her
it is.
favorites.
If you
It's
love
one
caramel,
of my least favorites.
But I will
love
say-
caramel, but I like caramel and bourbon, not in rye.
It is sweeter than their bourbon.
It is very
It
sweet.
is. It is.
It is. But it also makes me, gives me a headache quick. And I think it's the sweetness of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's one of them I can't get behind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy.
that's all right.
I liked you a lot
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I like you a little bit now.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you know what? You like what you want.
Yeah.
And,
Yes. We're very much about that.
Yeah, definitely
Well,
whiskey
same with-
tribe mentality here.
It's-
The best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink, the
Yeah.
way you like to drink it, and same
Yep.
same goes for cigars.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone's palate's different.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah. No, that's cool.
That is cool.
Joseph
Yeah.
Magnus Cigar Blend. Yeah, you're hanging in the
Good
right
stuff.
spot. I think
have a
Rob's
specific-
favorite pours are Magnus Cigar
Magnus
Blend.
Cigar Blend. I love the Stag Junior,
Yeah.
George T. I like all the Stags.
well, I haven't even opened my bottle of cigar blend yet.
Oh,
So
Which
I
you
might have
should.
to-
Do you know which batch you have?
I'll have to look. I know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like every other batch, every other batch type product, they're all a little different.
They are.
But I've still not had a single cigar batch that I've not loved.
Cigar
Yeah.
Blend.
Or cigar blend.
Yep.
Yeah. Cigar batches do suck.
They do suck.
Yeah.
Bad. Yes.
Which it's a joke because a lot of brands are releasing stuff finished in Amburana barrels and calling it cigar batch.
Which is the
They don't
worst.
pair well with cigars. We've
At
said
all.
it once. We'll say it again.
They
Don't
suck.
do it. But it was funny. When I was here for my bachelor party, we did a full-blown bottle share, and I had a cigar blend on the table. There was a Parker's double barrel blend, Michter's 10-year rye. There
We
was
literally almost killed an entire
William
Oh, yeah.
LaRue Weller.
bottle.
Yeah.
And it was
You know the
extremely
secondhand price of
special.
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's good.
I drank a third of it.
Oh.
And I felt it. That's
There was
for
there was
sure.
about that much left for Will when he picked up his bottle.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will. You're
Yeah.
you're our hero.
But no, I mean it just whiskey's meant to be shared, and it is
is.
best enjoyed in company. And whiskey bottle tastes a lot better once it's open. I'm just telling
does.
you.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So another one I've enjoyed lately has been Green River.
Yeah.
Green
Oh,
River.
yeah.
Some of their new stuff. We actually have a couple of bottles back there, which if you're welcome to try them if you haven't tried them yet before you leave. We had a Green River tasting here, and it was not well attended. That's because of the club; they didn't attend it. But we won't go there.
No, don't go there.
I won't go
we
there.
don't have time for that.
But we actually tasted when we went down to Bourbon 30 down in Kentucky and did a blend of some bottles, which we're going to get a couple of those in here too. They had a Green River barrel there, and it was absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And so Green River is on the up and up.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they're gonna make a name for themselves in the next few years.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but walk us through the Micallef line and what you're offering, just basically in general. What people, even apart from our final third lounge, can
Which
expect
ours
to
will
see,
be expanding.
Yeah.
we can expect to see from your brand.
So we have a Connecticut.
Okay.
The unique thing about this Connecticut is it probably sits more at mild to medium, mild plus to medium.
It's where we
because
like
it
our
has Habano.
Connecticut's.
I mean, it
Yeah.
has more flavor,
Yeah.
right?
It does.
I think some Connecticut's just are like air.
Yeah.
You're smoking air.
Which is fine for those
Yeah.
that want just a
For sure.
very mild, don't have to think about that smoke.
Yep. But this one just has a little bit more. I hate to say spice and pepper because that scares people away, but it's a little more full.
And a lot of those Connecticut's that lean that way, you won't detect it if you're not retrohaling.
Right.
For
right.
sure. Yep. And then so our A, Micallef A, which we'll talk about the ambassador program in a moment.
Yeah.
They're the ones that actually named that cigar, and it was a cigar that it's a Maduro, right? So a lot of people like it, but the price point for it. What do you have yours at?
Mid sixes.
Yeah. So
I mean, you're talking about a petite Corona at 6.5,
Yep.
and you're talking about a Churchill at 6.69. I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
that's an insane price for a Churchill.
and they once again, even though those prices are lower, we have the same construction, right? You still have
Yeah.
the draw test, you still have the
Yep.
rollers. It's just they still smoke great.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got some of the other parts of our line that I think are the sleepers because they're my favorite, but not everyone gives them a try, and that's the Migdalia, which you have.
Yep, Medallia.
That Migdalia has like a Middle Eastern spice to it.
Okay.
And that one, the one we have is a Toro in that $13 range here.
Yep. Yep.
Again, MSRP is lower, but we have taxes in Indiana. So
And I think that's why like the Migdalia and then our other one called the Riata that I really enjoy. Their prices are in the $11.50 to $13 range.
right,
And so
which is becoming the normal.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Anyway.
so, but both of those I think are very good. Our one that's most renowned is the Leyenda number 1. Comes in an open face coffin. And so it's been I think the original blend since 1934. Like
Okay.
Wow.
I need to try that
So-
one again.
Yeah,
are
I'll try
you
that one for the
guys
first time.
using the Gomez family blends for everything and kind of putting the Micallef name on it, or
Yes.
is the Micallef family working together with
But
them to
Gomez is only making for you.
Yes.
I mean, Gomez
Yeah.
is part of Micallef. It's
For
not
sure.
like it's a
yeah, but
Well, it
Yes.
kind of seems like it's the U.S. name for that brand.
for that brand. I will say because I confirmed this with Amanda actually on my way here, because I thought it was the black that was the first blend that Micallef, since being with the Gomez Sanchez family,
Yeah.
created. But she told me that it's the first one in 3 years. But the A was also a blend that Micallef was a part of. Some of these others, the Riata, Migdalia, the Leyenda, these are blends that the Gomez Sanchez family has had.
okay.
So-
Well, and the A is the from the ambassador program. Did
Yeah.
we even talk about that on this side of it?
We
yet.
haven't. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to
So
talk about that a
our,
little
our
bit?
ambassador program. Well, real quick,
Go
so
ahead,
that,
go through
that
what you're
Leyenda
doing, yeah.
coffin
Yeah.
is a celebratory stick because you're looking at anywhere from $18 to $21 depending
Right.
on what you put on it. But it's fantastic. But because people like that blend, but didn't always want to pay the price point, we did release the Leyenda and the Toro and Robusto out of the coffin. Same blend, but it's 1150, 1250.
Oh,
Wow.
So that helps.
that definitely helps. Yeah.
Now, the ambassador program, once again, Micallef wants to engage and invest in the retail side of the brick and mortar and the consumers. That's why we want to keep our prices lower. You won't find them online. But the ambassador program is our way to engage in our consumers.
Right.
And so to become an ambassador, you fill out on the website this form. They send you a coin in the mail that has a number specific to you.
It takes you 30 seconds.
Yeah,
to
it's
fill
very
out the
easy.
form.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
And then you join a Facebook group. On that Facebook group, it's just an amazing community. We talked about it in the first go around about during COVID, people still smoke cigars, but
And
they
even
lack-
more.
Yeah, even more. But they lack the community.
Right.
And so the ambassador program, to be able to engage with people online as you're at home, just provided that lounge feel
Right.
that people want in the experience of smoking cigars.
Well, and I told you this before, during COVID, Micallef was probably one of the only brands that really engaged their customer base. They were doing herfs. They were constantly doing lives where people can engage with them. And during the entire time of COVID, they were always engaging so that people knew what they were doing, what they had. That's really where the ambassador, the A came out really hard
Yep.
and really got a following on it. So, kudos to you guys for doing that because, a lot of brands just kind of disappeared during COVID.
Yeah, a lot of it's Dan and Amanda. Dan Thompson,
Yeah.
who's our president, Amanda Micallef. Dan, not coming from the cigar industry originally.
Well, she was with IBM, right? Is that right? Or
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
And
Sorry about that, Dan.
Yeah. That was,
Oops.
Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, the much better one.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But so he's taking an approach that's kind of atypical, right? Which I think is good. It's a new set of eyes, which we've already
Very
talked
good.
about.
Yeah.
And then the newest announcement is now we have All Saints
Yeah.
and Micallef. So Mickey Pegg, who's been in the industry for a long time, who understands the industry,
Yeah.
all the ups and downs and whatever through cigars. So I think Dan and Mickey working together, one coming from a different approach, the other one coming from the approach that he's seen over the years. I think it could create some beautiful things.
It really should. Yeah. Yeah.
And so for those who are wondering, we talked about this already, but All Saints and Micallef, essentially we liken it to J.C. Newman and Fuente.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still All Saints is his brand. We're not going to do their blends. They're not going to do ours. We might do a collaboration, but it's basically two entities with the same sales force.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, it
Yeah.
just makes sense. I will say one thing, and I'm gonna say this now before I forget. Dan, Amanda, Andy, all you guys, thank you for bringing him on board. This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very humble guy, but he actually is the reason why we have Micallef in here now. Won't throw the other guy under the bus, but we would never buy from the other guy. This guy is awesome.
And there
We
is
love
something
him.
to be said about just the sales force and the rep presence.
Yes.
And
One, just the personality. Your personality is great. You have you know your product, but you're also just like us, man. You're a cigar nerd like us. We can hang and talk,
Yep.
and we really appreciate you
I
coming in
appreciate
here.
it. Thank you.
I will tell you right now, my wife met you the first time because I
Yeah.
wasn't here, and she's like, "Yeah, we need to talk to this guy." I'm like, I trust her, and yeah, meeting you the
Because
first time.
I bought this hat.
And you bought the hat.
I'm
You bought the hat. Yeah, yeah.
First time in.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm a hat guy. If you ask
Oh,
my
yeah.
wife, I have way too many
Way
hats.
too many hats.
Yeah.
But I love those hats, so I bought it.
But yeah, so this was a really good move.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. And just a shout out, we didn't mention Andy on this one, but
yep.
but he like Andy, who originally before Mickey was brought on was my boss, the one who brought me in with Dan and Amanda, like to give me a chance and not have official cigar industry background.
Right.
Like, I'm just appreciative. Like I'm thankful for Micallef and for Andy and Dan and Amanda for doing that.
So what, I know you said, what brought you in? How did you get hired? I mean, were you at the shop and
doing the work within prisons, I mean, you can imagine it gets taxing.
yeah,
And I did that for 5 years. And I was just getting to the point where between that and pastoring a church, it was just getting, like, although I was home, I wasn't home. I was exhausted emotionally.
I can tell you firsthand, like pastoring, it's all people business, and there are some weeks that are just fine, and there are other weeks where you have a funeral and a wedding, and somebody else is just
struggling in life. Yep.
And you carry those things.
Yeah, it gets heavy. And so I was looking, and I saw a job posting for Micallef Cigars. And I immediately called my buddy Ryan and Patricia and said, hey, what do you guys know about this brand? And so they actually knew the old rep as well. And so we talked about, getting a reference from them and just moving forward. So as soon as I saw that, I kind of put all of my hope in that they would say yes.
Yeah.
But then thought, why would they? Like I taught classes in prisons, right? Like,
yeah.
So, but
now your classes in prison, what were you teaching?
I was teaching like healthy relationships, employment readiness, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I was the project director for a big contract that we got through ODRC, which is Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. It was a contract to teach faith-based classes.
Okay.
In higher level prisons. So level 2 or level 3. So.
Yeah, and I will tell you, my wife and I both, we actually went into the local juvenile detention center down the road here, and we would go in there every week and basically do similar things, teaching and just engaging. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because, from the juvenile side of it, even, these kids are only one step away from being in full-blown prison.
Yep.
And, try to help them just figure life out. It's heartbreaking when you see you really connect with somebody and you really help them, and then they get out and then they're right back in.
The cycle's perpetual.
There's no such thing as corrections in this country, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but
being in it for 5 years, I would agree. We in Ohio, we use the word rehabilitation.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen enough of that.
No, because these kids and these adults go back into the society, and society is already stacked against you when you have a record.
Yeah.
So then you go back into society, and the only thing you have to figure out how to make money is go back into the same shit you were doing before.
I mean,
it's not good.
It is the difference between like a slap on the wrist and an actual restorative process in place. And
I get it.
I have a lot of family that is in and out of prison because they have drug problems. But at this point, one of my cousins, he told me last time he was out and had a family gathering, he said, I don't know how to survive out here.
Yeah.
I can do it in the prison, in the system. And he said, I can't even hardly deliver pizzas.
Yeah.
And that's just sad.
It is sad.
The term you just used, like the fact that he said survive out here. Like we're meant to thrive.
Yeah.
But the prison system mentality is surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you just stay in that survival mode, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
I did reentry stuff too. So the guys I worked with were getting released as well. And so honestly, there were several times I'd bring some of them to the cigar lounge. We sit down and have a cigar together.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've loved about the cigar industry from a ministry standpoint, and even that, is I have had more deep, life important questions and conversations around cigars than anything formal.
Agree.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. And so, when my church knew I'm a cigar, I told them right away when I took the job that I like cigars and bourbon. And we do steaks and stogies event with our men.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's just like, it blows me away on what cigars can do when you just sit down for an hour and a half. I mean, what other reason do guys sit down for an hour and a half to talk?
Yeah.
I mean, other times you'll get guys gathering, but it'll be to watch a game.
Yeah.
Right.
But people gathering over cigars and over a drink, you don't even have to put music on, and people will talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you're appreciating something together, and there is something religious and I don't know. There's a ritual to it that can be had by anybody.
Yeah. And that's one thing that Lisa and I talk, and she says it all the time, even more so than I do, is like this has become kind of a mission field for us in a way that, our mission field is just providing an environment of relationships. That's what this is all about, is coming and meeting people over the same thing we all enjoy, cigars, and maybe a pour.
Yeah.
And it's like it forces you to slow down and just be in the moment. And what other thing can you do in this world right now that you can actually sit down and actually focus for an hour and a half? You have to be in the moment.
Yep.
And there's not very many things in this world that you can do that with now. So
I love it. I love when I see guys or fathers who walk in with their son who just turned 21.
Yeah.
And like sit down and have a cigar together.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
Like, man, that's
what it's about.
It is.
It is. And my son now, who's not close to 21 yet, he keeps asking, like, when? Like, be patient, buddy. I can't wait for that day.
It's coming. Yeah.
I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, we've had a lot of 21-year-olds come in here on their birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna pretend that that's their first cigar or first pour they've ever had. But that means something to them when it's their first legal. I can actually show you my ID and I can buy my own cigar and I can buy my own pour and sit down and relax and be a part of the group. I'm like, I think that's amazing because most of those come back because they want to be a part of that.
And the other thing is it's a educational experience for most of them. Just saying, hey, you may not have ever smoked a cigar before.
Yeah.
What would you like to cut your teeth on?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And a good one would be the black.
The black. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the good first one.
Yeah.
But
probably your Connecticut would be a good first one.
It would be.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are some of the other ones you guys have? I know there's quite you have a big line.
We
not
have
just the ones you talked
our Herencia that comes in a Maduro and a Habano wrapper. We have our Experiencia, which is also called La Crema. It's a little creamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, our Reserva, which is our highest end cigar.
Okay.
It's the MSRP is like $42 for the Churchill and $38 for the Toro. But
not
that
tried
was
that
the
one yet.
cigar that the Gomez Sanchez family made for Al Micallef.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
So that's why it's kind of like a prize.
Special,
This is what it started at.
Yeah.
So that's what he made 1,000 of.
Yep.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is
a good
cool to
cigar.
see something like that has been in the Gomez Sanchez family. Like just see that tradition even being carried on, because on the black, on the band it says with the Gomez Sanchez family. So it's not like you're hiding it at all. Like you're absolutely willing to give credit where credit's due, and that doesn't happen a lot in the cigar industry.
No, I mean, but you don't get anywhere alone. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So that's why I love the story and the partnership. So
Yeah.
So I will say in that cigar, getting down into that final third towards, I've already nubbed mine.
Yeah.
It definitely stayed very true to those same notes all the way through. It never got charred. The spice level kicked up, but it does
for
when
me
you get to
too.
the end of the
Yeah.
cigar. But it stayed true with all those same notes. The baking spices were prevalent. The dark chocolate was prevalent. The black pepper spice was nice, and I still kept getting that cedar that you were talking about too, which is really
and
nice.
that cedar was showing through even more on the retrohale in that
It
in
was.
that last part for me. And the black pepper kicked up. It never went to a red pepper for me.
No,
But it was just a nice balance of spice for the more, I guess, sweeter adjacent flavors that the palate had.
yeah,
I would say those who like a strong Maduro would call this one a medium plus.
I would agree.
Especially if you don't retro hair. If you don't retro hair, this is a medium
Yeah.
plus cigar.
Yeah,
And that's why I say that if you normally smoke medium, you'll like this cigar.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
So anything else you want to chat about a little bit before we head out of here?
I
That's all I have.
I think
you
we.
have?
I can't
Cliff
remember
notes
I know.
everything.
what
Yeah.
we all talked
Sorry.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
was
great. I appreciate you guys.
No,
inviting
thank you
me.
for coming out. We really appreciate that. This has been really good. And as we get into the winter a little bit more, we'll be trying a few more other cigars, bringing them in here too for you to try.
Do an event.
What's that?
We'll do an event.
We will
Yeah,
do
we
an
will.
event. I definitely want to talk about an event here soon because I think it'll be amazing. I know you said that Amanda is traveling right now a little bit anyway.
Yeah. So
I missed out
I'm
on the
doing an
first
event
one.
next week. So
Next
I want
week?
to talk about this event for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Amanda Micallef will be in Indianapolis next week.
Where's she gonna be?
Well, she's flying into here on Thursday, but we're going to Crossroads in Lafayette
Okay.
with Mike. So, and it's really because you guys were booked. I think you had something that Thursday.
We had the same event the same day you were going to be here. Yeah.
And so we're going over there. But the reason for her trip is we're going to end up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
At Rudy's.
Oh,
Rudy's
cool.
awesome.
Love
Awesome
So-
guys. Yeah.
They do what they call the smoking train event.
Oh, that's an amazing event.
So we're going on a train this
All
weekend.
right. Oh, this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause this
Saturday.
might have been the one that he told me I need to get up there
Yeah.
for.
So yeah, we're going. We leave. So the hog roast starts at the train station at noon on Saturday, in Angola, Indiana, and then at 3:00 we get on the train, smoke cigars, drink bourbon, live music as we
Yeah.
ride the train up to Michigan.
That's awesome.
And back.
Do you know what the ticket prices are for that?
Yeah. So the general price is $120, which includes the meal, includes the train, includes 2 cigars.
Okay.
And then the VIP, I think it was $320.
Okay.
That includes a box, your choice.
Okay.
Which, if you think about the price of a box,
That's
Not
worth it right
bad.
there. Yeah.
and then everything else. So those are the prices.
Okay, cool. Well, good deal, man. Well,
man.
we'll definitely be hooking up for an event
Yeah,
very
sounds
soon.
good.
So,
Yeah.
well, again, guys, thanks a lot for listening in. Get in here and try the ones we have. We'll be expanding it,
Yeah.
obviously, as well. Come in and try these 2 bad boys too, because they're not going to last forever.
Which one was this one right here? That was the 140.
Yeah, the
Yes.
ones.
Get,
It's
get you
so-
some more if you need to,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar. Where can they follow you?
Micallef Jeremy on Facebook.
Okay.
And you can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor.
So thanks
Oh,
again,
yeah?
guys, for
Yeah.
listening in, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll drink more brandy.
Hey, we did 2 hours.